So, eBay's profits for the first quarter of 2025 are up. But why do we all feel so down? Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Car Boot Chris, this is Belle, and we are live. It's Monday night, 8
I'm
p.m.
not even known as Bargain Belle anymore because I'm like, don't go.
You're not?
Bargain.
Well, sometimes I say Bargain Belle and sometimes I don't, but welcome back everybody. Appreciate you being here. And if you're new here, I'm a full-time reseller. Belle has a real job. She just joins in mainly on the Monday nights just to have a bit of totty, is it? Is that what you say? Is that the word? Bit of totty on the screen?
Or is that all I am?
Yeah.
I have no other worth other than for people to look at me.
I best not
I
say.
think I'm pretty funny, actually. I think I bring the amusement side to this show. Thank you very much.
You're very modest, aren't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the reseller. Belle's got a proper job. And yeah, this is what I do for a living. So hang on a minute. Cookie's digging some. Cookie, get out of there. Get out. Get out. He's digging up all my pile of clothes.
And if you don't know who Ducky is.
Ducky? Oh,
Who
come on,
Ducky
Ducky, get out.
Who Cookie is our Cocker Spaniel. Not a child that he's screaming at. It's the dog.
She digs. Like, if you leave clothes about anywhere, she digs and then she, like, sits in the middle of it.
Oh, thanks, Deborah.
Oh, yeah, you weren't in last week,
I wasn't
were you?
here last week, no. I was recuperating after a hectic weekend. That's what I was doing.
Yes. So I pinned a comment and I said, if you're a lurker and you've never said hello, today is the day. So I have noticed a few people's names that...
We got a Jane Dresser says they live
Jane
in Brighton.
Dresser. Yeah, but I think I've seen Jane Dresser before. I'm sure she's made comments and stuff. But it's, if anybody else, she's the eye candy and the humour. That's Jeff, that. If anybody else is new and you've never made a comment or you've watched for a while, or if this is the first time you've ever watched, drop a comment now because Belle's going to give a shout out to as many people as she possibly can in the allotted 2 minutes, which the music's going to start, and you've got 2 minutes to say hello to everybody. So please don't let Belle beat you to the bottom.
Always.
Don't let her beat you to the bottom. Here we go.
Are we going?
Yeah, we're off.
So first on mine, I have Hitco, and then I've got Kevin Hawthorne, Jane Dresser, Cavallis, Deborah Nardone, Lisa, Alan Starbuck, Rummy Time Lord, Helen, Hillary Rhodes, Yorkshire Mix, Chris Tyler, Speed Foot Flips, Left-Handed Hummingbird, Limelight Vinted, Lance Stater, Biddy Hughes, Movie Chats, Demise Family, Tap Peddler, Ali Evans, See What You Buy, Joan, Andrea Kershaw, Tam's Reselling Life, Kez TV, Rosie Marsden, Paula McBride, Dan, The Flipping Retro, I never know how to say that. Is it Thinhead? Sinead, Gumley. Richard Payne, Robert Anthony, Ian G, Mark Hill, Married to Reselling, Jonathan Carpenter, Alan Starbuck, I'm pretty sure I've said him, and Martin Beach.
Well, I've definitely seen some new names there.
Yeah.
So welcome to everybody who's been brave enough to say hello.
Yeah, thank you for saying hello to us.
Did we say Ali Evans?
I did say Ali Evans.
And did we say Joan?
I did say Joan.
Okay then. I think we covered it then. Well, that was easy, wasn't it?
It was, but
That
we
was very
only
easy.
have 77 in at the moment, so that was pretty easy.
But there was only about 30 people who said hello out of 77. So if you're one of them who hasn't said hello, you can still say hello now because you've still got time on the clock.
We'll try and pick you up anyway as we go through the show.
Yeah.
See that it's a name we haven't already said hello to. Just go back through, see what we've got going on. Deborah says, what an amazing weekend down in Cornwall. Loads of fab boot sales, loads of brilliant bargain buys.
Let us know where you went, Deborah Sardine.
Helen says, hope everyone's had a good week.
Pitco's got his mug. Thank you, Pitco. If anybody else wants one of the infamous mugs, we are depleting in supplies. So please check out the link underneath the video. It'll take you to my shop where you can buy it.
Left-handed Hummingbird said, good evening. It's nice to finally relax after 3 busy car booting days, 2 in North Devon and 1 in Bude in Cornwall.
Blimey, been about a bit. And Tim on Facebook has said hello. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
And Billions BTK, welcome to you as well. Another new name. Andy Stone, that's a new name from Danebury, is that?
Danebury.
Where is Danebury?
I have no idea where Danesbury
I
is.
don't actually know either.
Demise family says, good evening. We cannot move after some well-deserved bank holiday fish and chips.
Oh,
not had fish and chips for a while, have we?
Well, they've been doing Comic-Cons all weekend. We met those guys at the Liverpool Comic-Con. You might see a video soon. And yeah, it was great to meet you guys. We bought what did we buy? We bought a mystery box. I think Steve bought an alien phone holder or something like that. So yeah, that's cool. Nice.
Movie chat said 4th day straight seeing you.
I know, yeah. Speedfoot says celebrating 1 year of full-time reselling this weekend.
Woohoo! Well done.
Hope it's gone well.
Yeah. You made it to a year anyway, so that's good.
Resell for Rescues in.
Chris says Bonnie Bell. And
Chris Tyler also says it's his birthday coming up this week. Let's find the VT.
Anybody else got birthdays? Make sure you throw
I've got
them
another
in.
one to do as well.
Oh, we got another one.
Happy birthday! Woo!
Happy birthday to Chris for this week. Also, where's Chris's comment gone? There it is. Also, I need to say happy birthday to Peter Ray, whose birthday it was at the weekend.
Happy birthday! Woo!
Did we not do one for Fix It Frida? It was hers yesterday.
Happy birthday! Woo!
There we go. Rosie said, Hubby Richard says hi, who's listening in the background. Hi, Hubby Richard.
Who's that?
Rosie Marsden.
Oh, hello.
Deborah said she went to Stratton Bude and I don't know how you say that, Lanhydrock Bodmin.
Cool.
Resell for Rescue is with us.
Oh, it's Jeff just trying to pull a fast one again. Thought we had a new viewer. Tim on Facebook says, keep up the good work. Good to have some positive, successful resellers to follow. I assume you're not talking about me.
Why? Are you not successful? Are you not?
Partially.
Are you not making a living, paying the bills and keeping a roof over our head along with me?
Yes.
Right then, you're successful.
I guess so.
There you go.
Yes, I've realised that now, Limelight. I know. Can't keep up with all his alter egos.
Dan said they had a lovely week in Scotland. Great weather and plenty of bargains in the charity shops.
Movie chat says the phone holder looks amazing. Lana hates it. Chris Greaves is in as well. Welcome to Chris. 91 people in the chat. Yeah, just have a think about this one, right? We're going to talk about eBay. Profits are up. Right, as eBay as a whole business, it doesn't get broken down necessarily into like the UK. I can tell you what profit they made in the UK.
Lyndon's in hospital.
I know, yeah. She's been in for ages.
I didn't know she was in.
Oh yeah, you weren't here last
I
week.
wasn't here last week.
Linlin's in
and
hospital.
he's not even told me, Linlin.
I'd
have sent you some.
Well, if you watched the channel and watched back,
I was asleep. I'm sorry, Linlin. I'm sorry I didn't know, and I hope you're feeling all right. Well, clearly not because you're in hospital. But yeah, I hope you're
hopefully
as well as
be
can
back
be.
soon. Yeah, we're talking about eBay and profits up, but the feeling here in the UK is that it's a bit more of a struggle at the minute on eBay. Now, I'm not speaking for everybody. There's lots of people who are being very, very successful at the moment on eBay. But I think the general gist, like the majority, seem to feel like eBay is more of a struggle at the moment. So just have a think about that, and we'll talk about it a bit later in the show, what the reasons for it might be.
Deborah Nardone says, you have to say happy birthday to Rob, Mr. Sardine. It was his birthday last Tuesday.
Okie dokie.
Happy birthday, Mr. Sardine.
Happy birthday! Woo!
I've got my new coaster downstairs, Movie Chats. Thank you very much. That was my gift from the Comic-Con at the weekend because I didn't go. I got a Supernatural.
I am going to put a video out this week from the Comic-Con because I did take some video and I bought a few bits and bobs there as well. So, yeah, look out for that coming out soon. My coaster is in the collection. I'm not using it. I'm not going to ruin it.
She's been in 11 days.
It's a long time.
11 days, Linlin. And 11 days of beautiful weather as well. That's such bad timing. Come on, lady. Get your backside out.
She has been binge watching our channel, though. All the old content. So, every cloud.
That clearly means you've got nothing better to do while you're in there. But if it's keeping you amused, then good. But yeah, you need to get out. Come and get in that sunshine.
Ian G said, I sold all my Slack stock at the boot sale on Sunday. Feels cathartic. What does that mean? Does that mean like, feels like you've
taken a weight off?
Yeah.
Cleansed,
that's it. Yeah, I'm guessing it feels like. We did a boot sale at the weekend as well, didn't we?
We did.
We didn't make
Not
much.
very successfully, but we did a boot sale. We did it with Lana and Steve from
I don't think either of us really did great.
We bought more off each other.
I know. We swapped stock. It was more like a swap meet.
But it was all right because we'd have been at the boot sale anyway on Saturday morning, probably. So it just meant that we got to sit at the van and sell some bits as well as wander around.
Yeah.
Downside was it were bloody cold. Considering all this nice weather we've had, Saturday morning, it were freezing.
Dan said 2025 has been slow, but we did pack 24 items today after a few days. That's decent. That's decent for the weekend, isn't it?
Oh, Lana says, hope. Oh, it was Cookie's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
We need to do birthday for Cookie.
Really?
Happy birthday! Woo!
Yep, the famous Cookie. She was 9 years old on Saturday. Old lady now.
Lisa said, if they're making so much profit, why are they not doing more? What happened to all the stuff they said they would be doing for business accounts? I'm sure there's some stuff coming. They did say it wouldn't be overnight, though. eBay don't do anything overnight. It's like, we only had this conversation a few weeks ago. They did say 2025 there would be more things for business sellers. So we'll see if that comes true.
Chris says, where have you read about eBay's profits? Can you share these figures?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll share it. I've been talking to ChatGPT today. We've been having a good old chinwag about it. Catherine Green is in Facebook.
Hi, sis. Catherine's not been very well the last few days, so we're sending her get well hugs and kisses and hoping that she's feeling better soon. And it came at a really rubbish time, didn't it, Kat? Because she was due to have her last chemo session and she was poorly, so she hasn't been able to have it. So that's going to be dragged out a little bit now, unfortunately. But we're getting there.
Dan says you're doing better than you realise. We would love to match your income. You'll get there.
It's taken him a long time. It's taken him a fair few years to get where he is now. Like everybody else, you have to start somewhere, don't you? Movie Chat says it was great fun. Miss getting double cheeseburgers so early in the morning. Yeah, miss getting double cheeseburgers when somebody is making breakfast in the van for everybody and you're at the butty van getting cheeseburgers. Is that all about Steve?
Paula says, for the millionth time, I spoke to eBay today, who still could not tell me how long until jewelry and skincare categories would be eligible for simple delivery. So fed up now, I've gone on time away. So if those categories are not part of simple delivery, you still have to organize the delivery yourself. I'm not aware of much about this, about how it all works. So if you're not doing simple delivery on these, do you just do it yourself? Because from what I've heard of simple delivery, it just causes a headache, especially if you get parcel sizes and weights wrong and stuff. So you might be better off just doing your own. Like, you're better off doing your own postage if you can still do that with those categories.
Lynn says she feels like a stalker on the channel. You stalk away, girl. You stalk away. It's all good.
Yeah. Tam says, start of the week was terrible. Had 3 days with only one sale on each day. Made lots of changes at the weekend. It's picked up on Sunday and today. Also started an Etsy shop as I can't rely on eBay and Vinted only. Good idea. Good idea. Always good to try other avenues, see how it goes. You never know. Just keep plodding away, Tam, you know that.
Barbara the Alien is with us. Hello.
Welcome, Barbara. And Trug says, are you still using a VA? I've been using ChatGPT for all my listings and titles. Send it one picture and just have to change a few bits, but it's normally spot on. That's good. That's good. The only thing ChatGPT doesn't do is go through all your item specifics and do your description and all that business. But I use ChatGPT to identify items and to also help me. I use it a lot for trainers and shoes. It's really good at identifying models and makes and stuff of trainers and shoes. So I've been using it for that. It's also getting better at legit checking. So checking if something's real or fake. It's not perfect though. It's made mistakes where I know something's fake and it's made a mistake telling me it's real. But like with all AI, and I'm planning on making a video on specifically the use of ChatGPT within our businesses because I'm using it on a daily basis now. But with all AI, it has to be trained to understand what's right, what's wrong, and how to search and how to research and what answers you want. You have to train it. You have to give it specific prompts about like exactly what information you want back. You've got to be very, very specific. So yeah, the more you tell it things are right and wrong, the more it learns, and next time it gets it right. But it's very, very clever, and it's unbelievable how quickly this ChatGPT is embedded.
Movie Chat says it's making us all lazy.
It is.
I did say everything you say to him, he just goes, ask ChatGPT. I'm like, use your brain.
No, but if it's the thing is, it saves you time. If it can save you time, time is money.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I am still using a V8, although he does need a kick up the arse at the minute. I keep having to prompt him, and he's a real person. I keep having to kick him and say, "Where's my listings?" So yeah.
Thank you for the wishes for Catherine. I'm sure she can see those if she's looking at the chat.
Demise Family says, I'm glad we're at Comic-Con. We had a terrible weekend on all platforms. Well, at least you've got that other income and you probably earn miles more. Looking at how busy Liverpool Comic-Con was, I'm sure you earn miles more there than you would on any of your platform.
I'm a reseller has joined us. Hello. Ian G says, I haven't got simple delivery imposed on my private account yet. Can still reject it.
Oh, you can reject it, can you? I don't know if it's mandatory or you've got to use it or what.
Shrug says, use ChatGPT for bundles, especially media and games. Send it the picture and ask it to itemize what's there and estimate the price of each one.
Good. It's good to experiment with these things and see if it can really save you some time.
Jeff said, I'm somehow managed to see Tracy's 90-day eBay sales total. May have to retire early with all her extra money. She's trying to save it while you're spending it, Jeff, on amazing tables. Wasn't last week because I wasn't here. The week before, we had a chat with Jeff after the show, and he showed us this amazing sand art table that they've got in their living room. Oh my God, I want one. They're well expensive, so I'm never getting one. But basically, I don't know. Does he program it to do things?
Probably on an app or something.
Yeah, I don't know how it works, but he ended up sending us a picture of it. He had done like a cookie in the Haydens with like a duck in it and stuff. It's just fantastic. Love it. But that's where Jeff's money's going.
Joan says, do you have to pay for GPT if the speech is used? I'm not sure. I don't really use that speech thing much. Not yet, anyway. I am going to do a video about all the different things that I use it for on a daily basis. I'm planning that. And all I have to do is ask ChatGPT, what have I been using you for over the last 6 months? And he'll give me a list. And I'll make a video on it. So I can even ask ChatGPT to help me with that video.
AMPJ says, last week I was at a place I don't think I've ever seen anyone rummaging in the Chazas, Jersey. I found 6 in St Helier. Not much doing in them though.
Right. And it's AMPR, by the way.
What did I say?
AMPJ.
It says AMPJ.
No, it's AMPR. Dan says, we received more details about the eBay show at Anfield on the 22nd. All the top eBay managers will be there. Ooh, sounds interesting.
Lisa says you have to use it unless the item is under £10.
Oh, okay. Right. So the simple delivery thing, everything over a tenner, you have to use simple delivery. Interesting.
Biddy says, I find simple delivery anything but simple.
Well, this is what I'm hearing from people who are using it, is that it's not great. Or maybe it's just going to take time to get used to, because you know what people are like when something new changes, or, you know, something new comes in, or, you know, a process changes. It does take a bit of time to adapt. Remember managed payments. Everyone was going crazy about managed payments. It's terrible. Like, I'm leaving eBay. I'm doing this and doing that. It was fine.
We don't do change well, do we?
I'm sure eventually the simple delivery will also be fine.
Demise says, just getting into using ChatGPT. Would be interested to see your video on it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do one.
Antoinette Daly has joined us. Hello. Paula says, you wait so long to be paid, you have to use funds from a few sales I have for postage up front and never feel you catch up without simple delivery. E.g. sale on the 29th of April, earliest I'll get funds is 8th of May.
I do think that is a bit frustrating. Yeah.
Used to be one of the good things with eBay, didn't you? Getting the money instantly. Instantly. But I think because I've kind of got used to how Vinted works, I don't think I notice the difference. I mean, I don't sell masses. I only sell one. If I was like Chris, a full-time reseller, I might find it more frustrating because you're relying on that money. Yeah,
but no, it doesn't apply to me.
You get yours instantly.
Yeah, it's only private sellers.
Oh, right. But I didn't notice a massive difference. I've only sold a couple of bits on there since, but like you said, I don't need it like here and now. So
yeah. Again, it's one of them things that
it just depends how much you're relying on the income, aren't you?
Once you get into the swing of it, you know, once you've gone through a few weeks, it should just embed into your sort of routines and stuff. So I know it's easier said than done. I'm not having to manage it, but in the long term, you'll forget about the other way, how it used to be. And it'll just be the norm.
Right, we're at the bottom of the chat.
Oh, okay. Blimey, we've got to the bottom quick, haven't we? Let me say thank you to Dorothy Watkinson. Again, Dorothy provided last week's Duck Race prize and has provided this week's as well. She sent me a big box of stuff a while back. And
with sweeties in it, and they're still there.
Well,
have you replaced them?
No comment. Let's just move on from that. She's provided plenty of prizes, and there's some more tonight. And thank you, Dorothy Watkinson. Appreciate it.
I'm going to say thank you to... I've forgotten. It's dropped out of my brain. I was about to say you were going to say thank you to then, and I can't remember who I was going to mention.
While you're thinking of that, thank you. I'll get this done, and I'll say big thank you to all our VIP channel members. They're all down here at the bottom of this. Why are you staring at me?
I was trying to. No, I was literally just like, my brain was like, I was like, what was I going to say? I was going through the conversation you were having.
All right. All the channel members down at the bottom of the screen, thank you so much for being part of that. I appreciate your extra support. And I hope you enjoy our Discord. If anybody watching wants to join our VIP membership, you get access to our Discord, which is a lovely group of people. It's not a leads Discord. We're not going to be giving you leads where to buy stuff and that, but we help each other out and we chat and whatever. So everyone's really supportive. Everyone's very helpful. And yeah, it's great. So
remembered.
Oh, there we go. I delayed.
I was
that
going to
long
say
enough.
we need to say thank. I was going to say thank you to Ali and Richard as well, because they paid us a visit this week and they brought us some little gifts. That's what I was thinking. I was like,
oh yes,
what other gifts have we had this week? Yeah, Ali brought me some flowers and you got some sweeties, didn't you?
I got some Dusty the dog from, you know, after I mentioned it last week how Dusty is better than Percy. They brought me a bag of Dusty the dog from Aldi.
Yeah,
so I was well happy.
That was
better than flowers.
Very sweet of them. I only get flowers when other people buy them, so it was a very nice gesture. Thank you very much.
Ian says, if the parcel is longer or heavier than the max offered by simple delivery, you can also opt out. Okay, Ian. Okay, interesting. Thank you for the information.
That should have jogged my memory. Ali's put thank you to Dorothy Watkins too for the awful.
Yeah.
I'd have read that a minute ago.
It's only just come up. Aaron says eBay profits may well be up. People, including myself, are quick to judge eBay's performance based on their own. My sales being well down until recently. Well, until recently, so things are picking up a bit. Hopefully, Aaron. Geordie Resellers in. Richard says you're welcome. Richard, did you eat your Dusty dogs and what did you think of them? Because he got a packet as well. Yeah, I'm going to take that banner off. So thank you again to all our channel members. Really do appreciate all your support. So let's talk about eBay and their profits. I've got information on my phone. So eBay's profits. Where is it? So this is from Q1 2025 financial highlights for eBay. So eBay is a global company, basically, not just UK. Revenue was 2.6 billion, up 1% year on year. So it's gone up slightly on the revenue. The net income for eBay was $503 million. $million, sorry. And that's a 14.8% increase from Q1 2024. So 14.8% on the net income. And there's a couple of other figures in there, but they're the main ones. Revenue and net income are both up year on year. And ChatGPT says that the key drivers of growth were AI-powered tools, making the seller experience and streamlining the process better, which I'll argue that it's not really done much. Now, this is an interesting one. Advertising revenue. First-party advertising revenue grew by 13% year on year, totaling £418 million. So their advertising revenue grew by 13%. And their net income grew by 14.8%. So there's quite a correlation there with their increase. And then they've also had strategic partnerships. Collaborations with OpenAI and Meta expanded eBay's reach, allowing listings to appear on platforms like Marketplace. But that's not for the UK yet. So this is referring mainly to the US. So financials are generally up for eBay. Let me just go down a bit. But what ChatGPT did was it went through some of the feeling in the UK. Is the general feeling is that traffic is up in the UK in this year. The amount of impressions people are getting, but actual conversions appear to be down. But there's no figures for this. This is just what it's reading on the internet and reading in the eBay forums, is that generally impressions and views are high, but sales appear to be lower. So it's what I think what is going to be interesting is because Q1 is pre all the major changes. So what were the changes that happened in the last month? We had simple delivery for private sellers. We had buyer protection fees coming in for private sellers. The announcement of all the HMRC stuff starting, the reporting to HMRC, which was announced again. I mean, it was announced last year as well, but it's reiterated early this year. So what I think what is interested,
Automated feedback.
Automated feedback, but what will be interesting will be the Q2 revenue for eBay, because what the feeling is generally is that all these changes have driven people away from the platform, certainly in the UK. And the problem is you don't always get the UK breakdown. It has got some UK numbers in there, but you don't always get the year-on-year stuff for the UK. It's generally eBay as a whole. So that's a difficult thing. But it'll be interesting to see whether that Q2 will be better or worse than last year, because that's what they compare it on year. Because I think most of us feel that all these different changes, especially for private sellers, it might affect private sellers directly, but it affects us all effectively, because people are not coming to buy on the platform anecdotally enough, or as much as they used to be. So if they're not buying from private sellers, they're not coming to buy from business sellers either. So it's going to be interesting, I think, the next few months to see how that pans out. But eBay making big profits still. They're still the biggest platform. Forget about Amazon, I'm not including them. The biggest worldwide platform. But the question is, to get those increases, do you think that eBay has been concentrating more on the big stores and the big brands that operate on the platform, and maybe just forgetting a little bit, and maybe some of us small businesses, micro businesses, small businesses, family-run businesses that operate on eBay, have we been kind of lost a little bit in that? And therefore our sales have dropped a little bit or been very inconsistent. Is that a question that could be answered? I don't know. All we can do is speculate about it, can't we? And also another question that I wrote down here was, could eBay's global sales be masking a real problem in the UK? Because they might be doing well in the US, Australia, and other countries. Perhaps some of these countries don't have Vinted, who are coming right into the fore now, and they've got less competition in some of those countries. Maybe not the US, but I don't know about Australia and places like that, other countries across the world. But the fact that they've made money in total as a global company, but is that masking what's happening in the UK? Now, just and before I finish and have a look at everyone's comments, just talking about Vinted in the UK. Vinted now has 16 million UK users. 1 in 4 people in the UK are currently actively buying or selling on Vinted. That is massive. And what I read was that across the world, eBay has 132 million users across the world. Vinted across the world has 105 million users. That's not a massive difference. If that figure is correct, and that's 2024, by the way, don't have the figures for 2025. I also don't have the figures. eBay don't release the figures for how many users there are in the UK on the platform. So if we go off 2024, worldwide users, 132 million for eBay, 105 million for Vinted. There's not a huge difference there, is there? Considering the size of eBay. Anyway, I'll hand the floor over to you guys. Go on, speak.
Sorry, I dozed off.
This is the bit
It's like
where
being in a lecture.
we have to talk. This is a bit where
Well,
we
you
have
talk
to talk.
and then we do the questions and you
I know.
talk a bit more, but you didn't. You just talked.
No,
talked
because
and talked.
I have to do it and then it's
Okay.
done. That's the information. Digest it how you wish.
Well, Richard enjoyed his sweets anyway.
Oh, good. That's the important thing. I enjoyed them. We'll get them again. Yes. Right. Let's go through.
Dan
here.
said stockholders received 759 million in Q1. That's more shares and
Sorry,
dividends.
my eyes stuck.
Pitco said eBay might be up, but what about the UK resellers? Are they up or down?
We don't know. We don't know the answer to that.
Paul Rose has joined us. Hi,
Hi,
Paul.
Paul.
And Peter Reyes. By the way, Peter, you did get a birthday shout out, so
Yeah,
make sure you go
you
back.
missed your shout out, Peter, because you're late.
Dan said earnings per share is up from last year. That indicates that the overall business is doing well.
Yeah.
Paul said their profits are basically from ad revenue. If they had left it as it used to be, it would be a lot better.
The thing is, right, also, what you've got to remember is that as long as eBay are still doing well, we should all, if we're doing our job right, we should all also, as a general rule, also do well. If eBay were like down in profits, I would start getting worried. So I'm happy that eBay are making profit because that means that the platform is still alive and it's still the best platform. If eBay were reporting, we're down 20%, we're down 10% on last year, I'd be worried. I don't want them to be down. I want them to make money, and that means that it will be the best. They will continue to be the best platform.
Ian says ad revenue grew because people's sales are down and they're trying to promote, myself included. Impressions are up, but sales revenue for me are down 50% of my typical last 90-day total.
I think a lot of people are feeling that as well, Ian. I think the general consensus, and I'm talking like generally, there's definitely people who are doing really, really well, and there's, but I think on the whole, people seem to not be doing as well as, say, last year.
Adrian says, I've just started reselling as a side hustle. Now I'm heading to the HMRC thing. He did say, getting worried if I make over 1,000, will I need to be a sole trader?
If you're a business and your plans are to buy stuff and sell it for profit, you might as well just register. If you've got a business account on eBay, if you've got a business account on eBay, you're going to continue to buy stuff to resell. Forget about the numbers. Just register as a business. At the end of the day, if you submit your return and you haven't made any profit, you won't pay any tax. So it doesn't really matter much, even if you also have a real job as well. So for me, if your plan is, I'm going to be a business from this point onwards, just go and register. Don't worry about numbers. It's irrelevant. The
Even
numbers
if it's
are
a
irrelevant.
side hustle, if it's big enough to, because that's what Chris was. Chris was part-time to begin with, and he still registered because he was earning enough to be classed as a business.
When I registered as a business and I contacted HMRC in 2015, I did not even think about, how much can I earn? What's this £1,000 thing? What's £3,000? Forget about it. If you're a business and you plan to be a business for the foreseeable future, you are buying things to make a profit, just register. If you don't make a profit, you don't pay any tax.
Paul said, as far as I know, they have bought a lot of their stocks back too, so that's a hidden profit.
Oh,
Adrian said, getting worried if... no, that's the one I've just read out. Lisa suggests they think they're forgetting about the small businesses.
feels a little bit like that, doesn't it?
Pitco said, eBay had forced me to start going different places as I mainly sell parts. Sales have been that slow. I registered as e-waste recycling and selling lots of stripped down PC laptops to refinery places.
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting way. But the good thing is, Pitco, is that you've not stood still. You've moved with the times. You've moved with how the market's going. If it's not going well, you have to change something. Otherwise,
That's only the same with how you source, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
things change. And at least you've identified that, which is really important. And you've changed with it rather than just stick your head in the sand and just go under.
Being a sinking ship.
Yeah. You've changed and you've adapted.
Fluffy said, are there profits coming from 1% additional fee here, 0.5% fee there, 3% fee? It's
probably
it all
adds up.
Business sellers are being squeezed.
Yeah.
Tam said Sunday and today have been okay. Oh no, that's for someone else. Paul says, well, Chris, a lot of UK sellers went under with what they've done, including me and eBay Live Carl, who no longer resells, now in Amazon Publishing, who had a YouTube channel and a following.
Oh, I don't know who that is, Paul. So,
but then, like we were saying, is it because they haven't adapted? If you don't adapt and find other ways, and you're just solely relying on that one platform, then it probably is going to fail. It's the same with sticking to any one platform, I guess.
You've constantly got to be willing to adapt and change, and I think if you don't do that, you will just fail.
What's the saying? Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
I'm not saying that this has happened here. I'm just saying that reselling has evolved so much in the last 10 years. It's changed so much. You just got to keep your finger on the pulse and keep changing and adapting and not be driven down by change. Easier said than done, though.
Adrian says he's selling to make a profit.
Well, if you're doing that, Adrian, you might as well just register with HMRC. It's done then. You're not worried about these numbers, these fairy numbers that everyone banders about. Forget about them. Just register. That's my advice.
Pixo said, on eBay, I've done 9 sales total, around £150. I sent a wheelie bit of wire to refinery and got £180 for it. That's just wire, which was normally chucked out.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's good. Really good.
Yeah, you're adapting, you're changing, you're making money elsewhere. Why not?
Emsden have joined us. Hello, Emsden.
Welcome, Emsden. Better late than never.
Tam says, my eBay is down around 25% this year compared to last. Vinted has made up for some of that, but I'm pretty sure I'm down overall.
You won't be the only one, Tam. I don't know what mine is, to be honest with you.
Dan says it's really important that Vinted exists to give eBay competition. eBay could do what they want with nobody else around. Yeah, very true.
I'm just trying to see what my year-on-year is for this month, but I can't find it at the moment. Same period last year. Oh, sorry, that's the button I needed. So let's go this month, same period last year. Generate report.
So you're up.
Well, that's only 4 days. That's no good. This month. Let's go last month compared to same month last year. It only gave me 4 days, May. Total sales, net of selling costs is up 8.1%. Total sales up 2.9%. The number of items sold up 19.7%. Average sale price is down. You see, that doesn't surprise me, because this is what I say to people, and I think I spoke to Tam about this. My average sale price is down 14%, down to £24.93. I was on about £30, £32, or £31. But in order to get these sales, I've had to be more aggressive with my offers. When I say more aggressive, I mean send bigger offers out to people and accept bigger discounts in. in order to get these sales. So that absolutely rings true with what I've been doing to try and get money through the door. And that is take a bigger discount. And that's what's happened directly there. But overall, last month, which was April, I am a little bit up on last year. So I guess for me, that's not been too bad. But it's interesting how you make a decision, a business decision, and then you actually see it in the stats. That is a direct result. I guarantee that I've been more aggressive with my offers this year, 2025, to try and get the sales moving. It's probably because it felt like it was a bit flat and sales weren't coming in as much. I've had conversations with Belle over the last month or two where I've been like, God, I had a crap week, you know. And in order to make it pick up, I've been having to be aggressive on offers. And that's showing in the average sale price.
Yeah. Bitco said, but my eBay's around 23% down for the last 2 months, hence why it's forced to go in a different direction, as he's got a unit and overheads to cover.
Absolutely. You've got to make the right choice for your business.
Dan says we are probably in a recession, so don't be too down with slow sales. Next year should be better.
Fingers crossed. I was going to talk about high street stores, Chris, as well, because one of the subjects that I was going to do before I decided this one, because I was browsing sort of business information and what was going on the high street, was the high street is still like on a massive downturn. I think the latest estimate for 2025 was that there's going to be, I think, was it 17,000 or something? Thousands of high street stores are predicted to close this year. I mean, they're closing every year, so the high street is on a downward trajectory. We don't need to say that. I think it's pretty obvious, unless you go to Chester and the place is absolutely rammed.
Yeah. Jeff says, improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's the Marine Corps way. Dan says, a saying stuck with me from a business seminar: the harder you work, the luckier you get. Yeah,
fair enough. That could be a good one.
Paul Rose says, totally agree, Belle. I had all my eggs in one basket myself. I was often doing 4:30 a.m. until midnight. Seriously tried, but sometimes it just doesn't work, I'm afraid.
Yeah. So what are you doing now, Paul? What if you're not doing eBay, what are you doing? Aaron says everything's going up in price. Can't walk into Asda without spending 20 quid. Oh, tell me, don't even go there, Aaron.
I said to Chris the other day, I say every time I go shopping, it depresses me, because you go in, you buy less than a bag full of stuff, you come out, you spent 20, 30 quid. And you know what his answer was? He said, yeah, it depresses me every time you go shopping because I've got to give you half.
Seriously, we go and do what we call a big shop. It's not even a big shop anymore. You can't do a proper big shop now. You're just buying the essentials. So she comes in after doing shopping. I hate doing the shop now. A lot of the time, to be fair,
do it all.
A lot of the time we do online shop now. So when the online shop comes, for example, and we put it all on the table, we look at it, and it's 130 quid.
And they're like, what? We've got no food.
There's still nothing in the fridge. It's crap. The food is so expensive now. Your food shop. It's horrible, isn't it?
I mean, I do wonder how people on low incomes are managing, because we are on good incomes, and even we're feeling how much we have to spend on food. And we're not glamorous when it comes to shopping. I will bottom shelf shop anything I can bottom shelf shop. I don't like spending a lot of money on fancy things, but we do try to buy fresh rather than pre-packed.
So that does cost us more.
So it does cost you more, but that's what I'm saying. We're feeling that. So if someone's on a low income, no wonder people can't eat healthily.
No.
Because fresh food is so expensive. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's why we're then having to shop every 2 or 3 days, because your fresh food don't last long, does it? It only lasts a few days, and then you have to rebuy it all again. Yeah. God, one month we should sit down and actually work out how much we've spent in a month on shopping.
I don't want to.
We should, because I think it'd be scary.
Well, but what can we do about it? We can't. We can't
because like we're not lavish at all.
We're not buying.
We are not lavish.
Loads of junk and anything, are we? I mean, we might buy the odd Percy pig here and there, but that's about it.
Seriously, the kids come to my house, the boys come to my house, and they don't even go in the cupboards because there's nothing in there of any interest to them whatsoever. It's so boring.
I think before I talk about Matt's comment here, I think also like depending on, this might be an obvious one, but depending on what you like to sell on eBay or what you actually sell in your store will depend as well as whether you're affected by this downturn, by the cost of living crisis that we're in at the moment. It will depend a lot on what you're selling, because I still think that people have a certain demographic of people still have disposable income to just buy stuff, collectibles, things like that. I don't think are always affected by the cost of living, because most of the time people who are buying those have disposable income to spend. So I guess a lot will also depend on what you sell and whether it fits into that group of people who have the disposable income. It's interesting chatting about this because it just gives you ideas, go into the future about maybe you need to focus on other things, buying other things that might get you the sales. Matt says, I feel eBay is potentially on a downward path in the UK, as it seems the younger population use Vinted. These people are the future. eBay needs to adapt to maintain its current position. Totally agree. And I think they are doing. They're basically adapting by copying Vinted. That's what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
But I also agree with you, Matt, in the fact that I think that eBay's global profits, what I said earlier was, are eBay's global profits masking a problem in the UK for eBay? And I think it probably is, because if 16 million people are currently using Vinted, or was this 2020? I think this is 2024 as well. So I bet it's more than that. But 16 million people active on Vinted. It's probably higher than that now. I'd love to know if anybody can find this information, because I couldn't, what eBay's current active user base is in the UK. 16 million is 1 in 4 people.
I always go off because I've got 2 young adult sons, and they've got partners and stuff, and I go off what they use, and I know they use Vinted and Amazon, but neither of them use eBay. I don't even think my daughter-in-law uses. I've never heard them mention eBay. Definitely Amazon, definitely Vinted. They're the 2 main ones that I know they use.
Yeah. They do need to be careful, eBay, that they don't start getting left behind, because they might be showing profits in Q1 2025 prior to all the things that are going to drive people to their opposition, i.e. Vinted and Depop and Etsy and stuff. It'd be interesting for the rest of the year, but I'd love to know what the UK breakdown is on it, but it doesn't actually say. It does give some UK figures, but it doesn't say what the year-on-year stuff is for the UK. But
Dan said, did anyone else have their favourites disappear from Vinted today?
Not noticed, to be honest, Dan. I've not really been on Vinted today. Lana says a lot of shops I've gone in Chester as well. The indoor shopping centre is empty at the bottom end.
Can only imagine how busy it was then, because it was busy when we went the other week. Dan said, I had Aldi to myself today. It was dead in Blackpool this afternoon.
Paul's doing a mixture of stuff. I'll wind up reselling again at some point in the future, but nowhere near as full on as I was. Well, as long as you're keeping yourself ticking over, Paul.
Chris says, remember the 70s, our parents grew and homemade everything. Yeah.
We might have to start growing stuff in our garden. We'll turn it into an allotment in the back, and then we won't have to buy all that stuff.
It, but
do you think we could?
I can't grow things, though. Everything dies on me.
Pitco, UK is too small. eBay is losing its way with Vinted up and coming. The most UK people are gearing towards Vinted instead of eBay. Yep.
Probably why Vinted numbers are creeping up. But this is completely off the selling sort of thing, but you could say the same about Facebook, couldn't you? Because the majority of young people now don't use Facebook. They're very much TikTok, Instagram, what else is there? Snapchat. There's so many. Like my boys barely touch Facebook, and I know none of their mates barely touch it as well. So it does make you wonder if there's going to be a lot of platforms that either need to adapt and do something, because obviously you've got Facebook Marketplace on there, but once all those fuddy-duddies stop using it, then what happens to it?
Yeah. Dan says our local Lidl is really good, 50% off after 7 p.m. That's worth remembering, isn't it?
Apart from we don't have a local Lidl.
Everybody must go after 7 p.m.
We don't have a local Lidl.
We'd have to go to Prestatyn for that.
The problem we have where we are, because we're in the middle of a tourist, so we've got all the caravan sites either side of us, our Asda here, all the holiday makers go and get all the good stuff. So we very rarely get any like decent bargains there, because you tell you what, go in there on a Friday evening after all the tourists have come down for the weekend and they've done the shopping to last them. It's literally dead. There's nothing in there.
Kerr says, I think eBay will retain the serious collectors market. I think for now, eBay will still continue to be the biggest. But I tell you what, I think 2025, 2026, I think the next 2 years are going to be a serious test for eBay. Definitely in the UK. Can't speak for other markets. Obviously, we're not in them. But here in the UK, I do think that Vinted are going to seriously test eBay in this next 2 years if they're not careful.
Cam said try shopping with two boys in the family.
I know,
it's brutal.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine. It was bad enough when mine were younger. Food at the car boot is cheap.
What happens if and when Vinted go for the US market? I think they've already started in the US, haven't they? I'm sure I've heard some US resellers talking about Vinted. Maybe they're just starting out there.
Flipping Wall says having to change buying tactics at car boots this weekend due to far too many dealers there. We did 4 car boots and had the same issue at each.
I think we're having to pay up a bit more at the boot sales at the moment. That's what I feel like.
Dan says I worked at Aintree for the Grand National just to get into the garden club was £150 and it was sold out. A lot of people still have money to throw around. Yeah.
Here's one thing that I always think about.
I was going to say, and people with money still like a bargain.
They do?
They do still like a bargain.
But they can splash out as well. People do splash out when they need to. But what I always think about, we're in this, we're allegedly going into, or we're on the edge of a recession. I've never seen so many brand new cars out on the roads. Never
They're
seen
all disability cars.
Well, could be. And I've got nothing, against that.
No, but what I'm saying is you can't say there's loads of new cars out there because a lot of people choose to have a car instead of having payments, don't they? Because they need it to get around.
Yeah, but they're not all. Big Range Rovers and stuff aren't bloody disability. But I see a lot of new or almost new cars. I've never seen so many almost new cars out on the roads. Also, I've never seen so many people. Considering people are complaining about the cost of food at supermarkets, buying from takeaways.
People are renting cars, said Joe. You don't know if people own them.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I don't know where it's coming from. I've never seen so many of them. And renting a car is not cheap.
There you go. Limelight says 1 in 4 new cars are mobility cars.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we don't use takeaways very often. Sometimes we have chicken and rice from one, but last time I went to our chippy here, oh my God, it was rammed.
Yeah.
And every time I go there, it's rammed. And people are spending a lot of money at takeaways. Mm-hmm. I was there and I came out and I said to you, God, one guy had spent, did I say £80 or something? One guy had an £80 bill, and it could have been for a big family. They're all splitting the bill, whatever, but fish and chips, £80. I don't know how many they'd had, but I came out thinking, Christ, that's like 2 weeks worth of food shopping for us. That's a couple of weeks worth of Asda shopping, and it's gone on one takeaway. So I don't know. Takeaways are so expensive now. From what they use, I remember literally just before COVID, £5 would get you a Chinese takeaway for one person. 10 quid would get you a Chinese takeaway for 2 people. Now you're lucky if 10 quid gets you a takeaway for 1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we do Pepe's, don't we? And that's 15 quid for 2 of us.
Yeah.
And that's literally
just
for a box of chicken and rice.
That's it.
Very
no
nice
chips,
chicken and rice.
No chips, no drink, Just
Yeah.
a box of rice and chicken, 15 quid each.
No.
Sorry, 15 quid, but we both get one. It's expensive, but it's very nice.
Geordie says he got a box of Cadbury's white cream eggs, 48 of them for 19p each in Asda. That was his
Ooh.
best find.
Very nice.
Billion says on groceries, how about Costco buying in bulk, non-perishably mostly? We've never done Costco.
Never really bothered
we don't
with
have
it.
one local to us
No,
now either.
not
but
close
it's
enough.
it's not something. The only problem is when you bulk buy, you've got to have somewhere to store it, haven't you? That's the one. You've got to have somewhere to store it, and he takes up all the storage.
And you got to have the money to bulk buy in the first place.
Yeah. Flipping Wall said, my youngest daughter, Blue, has only just gone across to Vinted. She sells on Depop and Amazon. She does customized clothing. Lisa says, ChatGPT says eBay won't disclose specific figures for active users in the UK.
That's the same answer I got, Lisa. And also, I tried Googling it. I couldn't get an answer for that. But I'd love to know what the answer is.
Paul says, I've nothing but respect for all those that are making it work, including yourself. My first 3/4 to 4 years, I could 3.5 to 4 years, I could list it fast enough. It also helps if it's not your sole income.
Lana's got a point as well about Costco. I've always found, I have been to Costco a few times, and it's not actually that cheap. I think it kind of fools you a little bit because when Lana says here, like when you work out the per price unit, it's probably cheaper, like at Asda, just to go and get whatever at Asda. I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions to that rule, but I've always found like buying like 100 fucking toilet rolls, and when you work it out, it's actually cheaper in Asda. You know.
Dan says, yes, but on Chris eBay, I have to be very careful over the next few years. Pitco says he's got 8 kids. 8!
Who's got 8?
Pitco. And he says, and none of them really bother with Facebook.
Jesus, Keith.
Jeff
You've been busy.
Jeff says their boys don't do social media.
Really?
Fluffy says, bring back MySpace and Live Journal. Aaron says, just looked at my figures for the last 31 days, up 140%, 45% on previous 31 days, average sale up 13%.
What is it year on year, Aaron?
52.
Because I was comparing year on year. What is it compared to last year? Like do April and then compare it year on year to previous April and see what that is.
Joan says she grows green beans. She gets loads for £3 on a bean sprout.
Oh, I
like green beans.
I will eat them if they're cooked in like
garlic and chili
and something, but I can't eat them raw, like without anything on them.
Kez TV says you can grow a massive turnip. You don't eat turnips.
I was going to answer to that, but I'm not going to.
Everything Car says, just come across your channel today from buying a Hot Wheel off you.
Oh, brilliant!
We got lots of them. You want some more? We got loads.
Oh, I tell you what. I've got all these boxes down
Hot
here.
Wheels.
All full of Hot Wheels.
What's the other one? Hot Wheels and what's the other make?
Matchbox.
Matchbox.
Yeah, I've got lots more. But thank you so much for purchasing. Brilliant.
Linlin grows strawberries. We used to have strawberries in one of our Devon gardens. Paul says there are lots of other reselling sites on the US that we don't have here, but it's a massive market, unlike the UK. Peter Fox says, hello, Chris and Belle. How are you? We are good. Thank you for joining us.
What did the fox say?
Ring, ring. No, it's the frog. Oh, dear.
Alexa, what did the fox say? That's going to drive everyone nuts now, isn't it?
It's not listening to you.
Yeah, it costs a lot to rent, Joan, yeah. It costs more to rent normally than to buy a car.
Rosie says, don't get rich by giving it away. I like to be savvy with my money.
I
buy yellow sticker food. Oh, I love getting a bargain.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Belle loves going for the yellow sticker stuff. There's nothing wrong with it.
I literally make my way around the shop through each of the knockdown sections.
Flipping Wolf says, despite car boot difficulties, I've been finding the most unusual items. I made £40 on a mysterious item that should have been binned years ago. This will be revealed in my next video. Ooh,
very cryptic.
That's a bit naughty.
Dan said BMWs are the second biggest seller this year. Where is all that money coming from?
Damn.
Oh, hi, Fix It Frida.
Hello.
You had a nice birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday. 90 years old. It's unbelievable, isn't it? 90 years old. Fix it, Frida. She's still going.
Jones said takeaways are ridiculously expensive.
Crazy.
Chris Tyler says, I'm sure if they're disability cars, they don't get. Yeah, they do. They have to take a percentage of what they would get in cash, and it goes towards a car, so they get less. They get less money. But a vehicle.
Deborah Sardine says our fish and chips are £11.30. It's mental.
Yeah.
£11.30. That's even more than ours. Not much, but it probably is.
Flipping Wall says, I know what you mean about new cars. 20-year-olds driving Mercs and Teslas. Me and Stacey scratch our heads and say, what the hell? You don't want to know what those ones are doing to get Mercs and Teslas. You don't want to know. It's probably not legal.
Is it me, right? But back in the 90s, right, or let's say 80s, 90s, right, if you saw a brand spanking new car on a new plate, you actually pointed it out. Oh, they've got a new car, a brand new car. That's how, more unusual it was back then. But now, every other car is almost brand new.
Do you think finance is easier to get?
Yeah, I
think finance is easier to get these days.
Yeah.
It's
and
more...
people don't even, I mean, who was it? Might have been in the Discord or something talking about, or I don't know where it was now, but someone was talking about buying a new car and, hundreds of pounds a month on a new car. And when did buying a new car cost as much as your mortgage?
Yeah.
How can anyone afford to have rent or mortgage and pay almost an equal amount on a car?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why you're seeing so many young people, because they don't have overheads. Most of those will be living at home, and if they're working, they're spending their money on it because they want a nice car.
Well, that's another
thing.
What
they're doing.
More people living at home longer.
Yeah.
More disposable income.
Literally, kids are living at home now till they're 30.
Yeah.
For that reason, because they can't afford to buy a house, so they spend it all on a car.
Limelight. It's a £5 for the rice now. It bloody is. It's crazy how quick that went up. Don't get me started on mobility cars. Everyone
More people
has
lease cars these days.
A lot of leases in. I leased a car for 4 years. It was actually a really good deal I got on that.
Do they get insurance paid for too? I don't know. I don't know. I would have think they'd have to pay for their own, but I don't know.
What are your thoughts on Whatnot, says Dan?
Still plugging away.
I'm still using it. I'm aiming to do 1 or 2 shows a month.
It's a hard sell.
It's hard.
It's a hard sell. I mean, considering how long Chris has been doing it now, we very rarely get more than 20 to 30 people on a show. It baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. You can go on and someone is selling the most random tat and they've got 100 people in. But then, like I said, you've been plugging away at it, and
it's hard. Whatnot is a hard game to play. Unless you're, I think really to be successful on Whatnot, you've got to really go all in. You just got to go all in on Whatnot. If you feel like that's your way, if you can find a supplier to supply your goods at the right price, and you're not just relying on boot sale stuff, because that's hard, then I think you got to go all in, all or nothing. It's very difficult. I think it's brutal as well. I was chatting to Lou, Style Reclaim on Whatnot. If you want to go and look Style Reclaim up, that's Oliver Ian's other half, Lou. She does Whatnot, and Oliver Ian's on there as well. But I was talking to her about how brutal it can be. A show can be absolute, people just not even bidding a pound sometimes, on half decent stuff or even really good stuff, and not even getting a pound bid. And it can be absolutely brutal. It can be soul destroying as well. But also, there are times when I've made a really good show and we've sold lots of stuff, and you get one of those now and again where you do really, really well, and that kind of spurs you to go on. But I believe eBay Live is coming this year. It's going to be with us by the end of 2025 in the UK. Apparently, eBay Live. We'll see.
But we say it all over and over again, don't we? Whatnot are just not advertising. They're just not getting it out to the general public, and it is still the same. The majority of people on there are resellers buying from resellers. Yeah. So you're never going to be able to get.
You can never achieve that high price.
Any decent prices, because if you're buying to resell, you want them at rock bottom
Sometimes,
prices,
though,
don't you?
like you can do a show, and all of a sudden, one particular item will achieve a really good value. Like I had a
Because
couple.
they want to keep it for themselves.
Yeah, that's it. When someone wants something for themselves, they're willing to go the extra mile. But it's very hard, Dan. Neil says cannot be Asda Shades toilet rolls.
That's too expensive for me.
We go for the smart price ones. Tesco cheaper than Costco, says Joe. I do think sometimes people get a little bit, not fooled, that's not the right word, but blinkered maybe by Costco, like thinking that you're buying it in massive bulk. There's probably loads of stuff that is worth picking up. But every time I've been, I've looked at the price and thought, right now, I don't want to spend 40 quid on bog rolls, you know, because it kind of like, that's 40 quid. That's 40 quid on bog rolls. You know, that's 40 quid I'm going to put down the toilet.
Literally.
And I hate the thought of that. It's the same as buying bin bags. It's like you're spending loads of money on bin bags that you're literally going to put in the bin. And I know it's a necessity, and you've got to have decent bin bags, otherwise they rip and the shit goes everywhere. But it's just annoying that you're paying for something that you're going to put in the bin.
It's a good job I do the shopping and he doesn't get a say.
I know. I would always go buy the cheapest.
See, Aaron's got a good point. He said for some of these younger people, insurance and all services are all paid for. They've only got to pay for fuel. They have a lot of the deals. And I was going to say the thing with people,
that though.
I know, but I was going to say the thing with new cars is sometimes it can be a lot cheaper to buy a new car, and you can get a better deal if you buy it from new than you can get in finance on a second-hand car. So that's why people are going for new cars.
Brand new cars, the interest rates on finance are normally much, much better than a second-hand car. So you can end up getting a brand new one cheaper than a one-year-old car. It's crazy, that.
Ian says he's feeling the pinch, so he started growing vegetables like mad in the garden. Quite a few people turn into this.
Well, this has turned into a cost of living.
It has.
Let's go back to, before we finish up.
This is what's important. This is what's affecting eBay.
It's affecting eBay, yeah. Anyone got anything else to add? I just think it's mad how Vinted have 16 million users in the UK. I did not think they had that many. I need to up my game on Vinted, I think.
Limelight said there was a Radio 4 program about mobility, and when you claim, you can get an extra driver. So someone's granny claims for one, but then their grandson drives it as their own car.
Ooh. Jocelyn says we had a Chinese tonight. Have to treat yourself on bank holidays. You have to treat yourself sometimes, don't you? Otherwise, life just gets boring, doesn't it?
Yeah. Lots of lovely birthday messages for Fix It Reader.
There you go. Aaron's done the April to April. Chris, April to this year to April last year, down 20%. Average sale price is up. That's crazy. The average sale price has gone up 40%, but actual sales down 20%. Now that, where do you think the reason? This is what I like to do with stuff like that. Like I can come up with a reason why my average sale price went down and my sales have gone up. But how do you account for this?
Yeah, Dan says Jean-Luc and Shara are a great example of making Whatnot a big. They are, but they work.
Oh, they work for that.
They work their asses off for that money. They earn every single penny of what they make between them, and they've got the right idea. Hit it hard while it's here, just in case. They are making the most out of Whatnot. They really are. But it's no different than the big ones on eBay. You just suddenly get that one person that managed to find a nice little niche that works for them. Yeah. And, you know, John and Shah have done amazing with it. They really have. And unfortunately, women are stupid and like to buy lots of cosmetics and will spend money on them.
That's another like luxury thing that people just won't quibble at spending money, especially like women.
You're pointing at the wrong woman, because I am not a cosmetics. I'm not a cosmetics person. I won't.
But you wouldn't qualm at spending it if you had to, like on some.
But this is why
lotion.
This is why This is why their Whatnot works, because cosmetics are so expensive. And if you can find someone that is giving you even a slight discount, you're going to buy from them, because if you want the products and you can get it at a slightly cheaper price, you're going to do it. And that's why they're working so well.
Yeah, they've got this niche and they're riding it they're doing really well. Why not?
Definitely.
But they are working for that money, though.
Yeah.
They are working like day and night. Oh, Jonathan says, I bought some great items off you on your last Whatnot show. Glad to support, even if you're not getting the prices you wanted. But I'm glad that you even bidded, Jonathan, because if you hadn't bidded, then I might not have sold the items. I'd rather get the sale. So I really do appreciate it. And
it's not necessarily that we're not getting the prices we want. Luckily, Chris sources and manages to put stuff on Whatnot that have a very small, what's the word, where you can go into profit. My brain's gone dead.
Profit margin.
Yeah, he tries to find stuff on. Yeah, he buys things that have a good profit margin for him. So because he knows that he's probably not going to sell items more than £3 or £4. So he's already aware of that, and he goes into the Whatnot shows knowing that, but it then just makes sourcing a lot harder because you can't afford to be spending £3-4 on items if that's all you're going to get back, because then you're in a loss. So, but like Chris said, we're just grateful when people come and buy. So
we're just very happy for you to come along and just make a purchase, make a bid, and just support us, and that's great. And whatever it goes for, that's what it goes for, and that's the name of the game.
I think when you first started doing it, you were a little bit like getting frustrated with it, but now you sort of know, don't you? You expect it, and like I said, it's more of a surprise now when something goes for over a tenner.
And sometimes that does happen, and sometimes occasionally you'll have something sell for more than what you expect it to go for, and that's a nice bonus because that offsets some of the other things that go for less.
Yeah. And if I'm honest, I said that I've seen people that have like 100 people in the chat, and I've watched them for a while, and I've still seen, even with 100 people in, they're selling stuff for £1 and £2. Yeah. Because it doesn't seem to matter how many people you've got in if you haven't got a product that somebody wants, or you haven't got a couple of people wanting the same product, because that's obviously where it benefits you, because then people will bid against each other to get it. So yeah, there's no rhyme or reason with Whatnot, is there?
It's just hard. It's tough.
Yeah.
Kez says get a B-day. They don't have to buy bog rolls.
Kez says when is prime time for the car boots? Now.
Yeah, pretty much the bank holidays onwards is prime time, isn't it? Sandra says, I watch a father and son on Whatnot most evenings. They get hardly any viewers and they don't understand why. I feel sorry for them. They keep coming on. It's hard. It's tough. It can, I think the word is brutal. It can be absolutely brutal.
Yeah. I'd like to say that the show Chris puts on is a slightly more professional show to what some people are on Whatnot, where they just stand in front of a camera in the living room and put stuff out. He does try to put effort into the presentation and making sure that, he's packaging well and he's sending stuff out and it's all decent stock. So he does everything that he needs to do to make sure we've built a reputable channel, but it doesn't make any difference. I know the people that buy from him, we get a lot of comments back about, how well packaged it's come, how quick it comes, and how the items are good quality and everything else. But we just don't seem to be able to draw a bigger audience in, do we? No. It's just not. I think
there. Part of the thing is with Whatnot on any platform is you have, like YouTube, if I suddenly just did one video and then didn't come back for 4 weeks and then put a video out, it would be very hard to grow the channel. And it's definitely the same can be said for Whatnot. You have to keep coming back. If you can do a daily Whatnot show and you've got the stock for it, I do believe that you will eventually grow. I know they're saying the father and son are struggling, but I think from what I've seen is the more you come back, the more you put into it, eventually you will build an audience. And part of my problem is I'm not frequent enough now on Whatnot. And I think the main reason for that is stock levels, trying to find enough stock.
Dog.
Great.
Oh.
Trying to find enough stock to do regular Whatnot shows is difficult. And also, like, when you buy stock in, you have to look at the item and think, where's the best place for me to sell this? Where's the most suitable platform? And like, what's my cost price? And can I afford to let it go quicker and turn the money over faster? Flipping Wolf says, it's a shame you were the godfather of Whatnot. I still remember you took the leap first. I was one of the first, certainly in the community. Certainly in the community that I know. I wasn't. I know there's some other people who came before me, but I definitely was one of the first who gave it a try and started off on there. But yeah, I'm not regular enough. That's the thing.
Yeah, John says she don't buy cosmetics apart from shampoo and face cream and soap. I reckon I save a fortune. When I see how much some people spend on cosmetics, I mean, I must admit, I do like a decent shampoo. So I do push the boat out, but that shampoo will then last me 4 or 5 months. So I'll probably buy it twice a year. So it probably averages out probably not much more expensive than if I was buying regular bottles. But that's the only thing that I buy. And that's only because I dye my hair. So I need a reasonably good shampoo. Mm-hmm. And before you say anyone like him, oh, it's all the same stuff in a different bottle. It's not. It's not.
Dan says, if you could do a Whatnot show every day from a warehouse, it would work better. I definitely think it would. I would love it.
Stock to do one every day.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying before. Stock management is very difficult when you're doing Whatnots. Yeah, if I could have a dedicated area for Whatnot, I would definitely do them more often, because a lot of it, the time it takes you to set up a proper Whatnot show, the time it takes you. I was saying to Bal the other week, I was running late. I had to put last week's Whatnot show back by 30 minutes because I was running late. You underestimate how much time it takes you to set up. You need several hours to set up a proper Whatnot show. Go through all your stock, get it all lined up and ready, get your computer stations ready, set the room up and the lighting. It takes a while.
Dust it down.
Yeah. And if I had a setup that all I had to do was just switch on and put the stock there, that would be amazing. But I don't have the room for that.
Oh yeah, Sam's saying they got hands-free popcorn eating on the last Whatnot show.
Jeff says, I remember my first Whatnot bidding war against myself. Yeah, Jeff bid himself up.
Angel Delight says, we use expensive shampoo from Amazon, Fanola purple one. Oh, my sister has that one. Yeah, that is a good one. Joan says, I agree, Belle. I buy shampoo twice a year and it's good quality, so much better for my tender scalp. It feels harsh when you're buying it, doesn't it? But I will still try and buy it when it's on an offer and get some money off or get a discount in some way, shape or form. But it does last. I mean, the shampoo I've got now, I bought in January. So 4 months and I've still not run out.
I've actually made a couple of sales whilst we've been on air.
Don't rub it in.
3 sales I've made. I've sold a Planet New Zealand jacket fleece for 20 quid. That had a cost price of £3. I've sold a Vancouver Canucks ice hockey jersey for $59.99. Is that $59.99? That had a cost price of £8. And I've just sold a pair of Men in Black pop figures, which I listed literally today. So that's sold today for £27. The cost price £8. And the good thing about that sale today was that because I listed it today, none of my items, when they first get listed for the first 7 days, are promoted. So I've made that sale without any promoted listing costs. So my selling costs on that was transaction fees of £4.77. Total transaction fees of £4.77. There's an international fee because it's gone GSP. Now you have international fees. There's a regulatory operating fee and there's a final value fee. And there's the 30p fixed amount. Total £4.77. No promoted listings on that one, which is nice. So it's interesting to see what people are buying. So I sell a lot of sports jerseys at the moment, like minimum one a day on average. So people are still buying sports jerseys, and people still buy the collectibles, the figures and the toys. I sold an ET today. You know, one of them ET Furbies. Sold one of them today. In fact, it was the one that Tommy Lee. It was the one that Tommy Lee fixed for me. I sent him off. He fixed it, sent it back to me. I had it in my collection for ages, and I decided to trim my collection down. I sold it today.
Rosie says she tries to buy all her cosmetics through sites that she can get air miles. It adds up.
Oh, air miles.
Didn't know you could do that. Dan says it must take John Luke and Shar a whole day after a whatnot show to get it all sent out.
Horrendous. But they have got like a
They said then that's with staff.
Yeah, and with staff, yeah. It must be horrendous.
Santa uses some special purple shampoo to help get his beard looking its whitest.
Really?
Ooh.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear, Santa.
Fairy washing up liquid as shampoo. Not convinced with that one.
Court says Vinted is the most user-friendly app. I agree. You build up your Vinted balance and use that balance to purchase other items. Most people are not whatnot sellers that don't have a whatnot balance. That's a fair point, yeah. Yeah. People do stick around on Vinted, like when they've got a balance, and they do tend to use it to purchase other things. Even I've done that when I've been selling stuff.
Flipping Will says, just looking at your completes now, Chris, apparently you sold a chopper, an American one.
It was a big chopper as well.
Court says, so what not feels like you are spending real money.
Yeah. I don't think it's that though, Court. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is that there's not enough buyers on Whatnot that actually want to buy things for themselves. A lot of the time, buyers are buying items to resell. It's very, very much a reseller selling to resellers, and that causes the price to be relatively low most of the time. Not all the time. Definitely not all the time. You know, sometimes I've paid up for things. I thought I want that for myself, and you know, end up paying up for it.
I think on our channel, personally on our channel, because people can sell big ticket items, we won't put anything on that we want to get a high amount for. We have tried, haven't we, in the past, where we've gone, right, we can't take any lower than 30 quid for this.
Very difficult to sell like that.
It's just like tumbleweed normally, because nobody wants to spend that in one go, even if it's worth it. Yeah. So yeah, we just try to avoid anything that's got any high value to it.
Yeah. Sandra says, are Care Bears popular to sell?
If they're the original ones.
Can be, especially the originals.
Original, not so much the newer versions, but the original ones, definitely.
If you have the newer versions, I would suggest bundling them together. Like, do a bungle deal.
Deborah says Fairy Liquid is actually a great shampoo for only hair, and I'm a hairdresser.
Really?
Even for dyed hair, because that's the one thing
She would not like that.
I don't feel
No way. No way she would use Fairy Liquid.
That scares me, that thought, Deborah. Dan says, you mentioned Whatnot, and we both had Whatnot ads on our phones.
That does not surprise me. That happens all the time.
Flipping Wall says, where do you get all your American stuff? Is that from your trips to the States?
Which American stuff, Wolf?
Like the jerseys and stuff?
The jerseys I buy in wholesale. I buy them wholesale, mainly. Like sports jerseys, pretty much wholesale that.
Oh, oily hair, she meant. It's good for oily
hair.
I don't have oily hair, so I'm okay with that. Mine's more dry. It goes very dry with the dye. Ooh, there's the little cough for anybody that wants the cookie cough update. She still has it.
She went a good couple of weeks when we come back from holiday.
She does it.
Where she just basically didn't cough at all for like 2 weeks, and we thought we'd cracked it, and it's back. Suddenly come back again. It's weird.
It's not as bad as it was.
She doesn't
not keep us awake at night.
No, I don't think it is as bad.
But it's just there.
Yeah,
just there. Right.
What's coming up on the channel this week? We've got the final podcast in this series. It's
the final podcast.
No, I'm not saying. That's Flipping Retro. are on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Come and join us. In fact, we're talking about stuff that's very similar to what we spoke about today, about, quitting. Basically, is it time to quit eBay? I know the girls have thought about it, and maybe you guys have. We know you have. And that's what we're going to talk about on the podcast. Why and when is it time? Should you quit eBay? Is there a point at which you should call it a day? But that's what we're going to talk about Wednesday, 1 p.m. So please tune in for that. We did have to rearrange due to illness, but it's back. It's going to be Wednesday this week, and that's going to be the last one in the series. I'm going to have a Comic-Con video out. You might or might not be interested in that, but I'm going to make a video. And there'll be a boot sale video at the weekend. That's what's coming up on the channel.
Jeff says she's the eye candy humour and singing sensation part of the show.
Don't, Jeff, please don't give her encouragement.
I can't sing. I am tone deaf.
Dave Repairs is in.
2 months eBay business with 0 listings. Oh, you've been back on eBay for 2 months.
Well, you need to list stuff,
listings.
Dave.
Yeah.
In order to make sales, you need to have some listings up. Get some stuff on. You're not going to earn any money without any listings. All right, we're ready for the duck race?
Yes.
Okie dokie.
Crack on.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready.
No.
Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Get ready.
The 160th duck race.
Woo!
Dan says, I will never give up on eBay. The alternative of a stupid boss isn't an option. Never give up. But
Today, Chris, when he's talking to himself, Chris is the stupid boss at times.
Got a bit of backache today. Okay, right. Let's get ready for this duck race. Let's put 2 minutes on the clock.
So many lumpy and bumpies, Cookie. You got so many lumpy and bumpies. Have we all given up on Depop? We never really started on Depop.
I tell you what, we don't have much chat on here about Depop. No. I was on there for a while, made about 10 sales, gave up. Don't really like the platform.
Oh, speaking of Chris giving up, guys, he's barely even started with his new website for his jerseys, and he's already talking about giving up.
Yeah, it's hard.
So he's had a stern talking to about that.
Got Cookie looking at the camera there.
Yeah, Daddy had a stern talking to, hadn't he?
Did I?
Stern talking to.
Why? Why has Daddy had a talking to?
Tell him stop being a mardy bum. Only you're allowed to be a mardy bum.
Is it Cookie's bedtime? Is it nearly Cookie's bedtime? Does Cookie want to walk? Does Cookie want a biscuit?
Don't, because she's going to jump down and I'm going to have to leave you to do the duck race.
Does Cookie want a biscuit? Why are you staring at me? You're worrying me. I hope I get the clown duck again.
Oh, Dave says, can he be the dog and get his tummy rubbed? Would you be offended?
I was on there 6 or 7 years ago. It was very social back then. I think you could link it with Instagram, Facebook friends and stuff. Yeah. I think I was on like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but I just couldn't get into it, to be fair. And sometimes if you try and juggle too many plates, it's not good anyway. I'm always an advocate of listing on different platforms, but sometimes you can do too many. And you just have to cut down to the ones that you think are worthwhile putting your time into. Because if you put time into something that's just no good, then you're wasting your time. Right, let's get ready. Thank you, David. I appreciate your comment there. Let's get ready for the duck race. Let's share the screen.
Do you know how hard I am to not sing the song each time you say it, so just stop saying it.
Please don't. Share screen.
Did you watch Simon's new Office in His Garden on YouTube?
Yes, I've seen that one. It looks very nice.
Jeff's very playful today. Jeff's always playful.
Right, ready for this duck race? Hang on. Let's get the music going. Can't forget that. Oh, so many buttons to press.
Push mine all the time.
You're doing it, Bill.
What? Show is finished. Leave a comment in the section below the video, and that will automatically enter into next week's duck show to win a prize. All our prizes are either gifted by us or donated by our lovely followers. This week's is
What?
Dorothy
Watkins.
It's Dorothy Watkins who's given us ours. So yeah, if you want to be in next week's duck race, drop us a comment after this is finished. So are we starting?
You're going to have to do it. You ready? And they're off. Go on.
I never agreed.
Go.
And we are off. Now, it looked literally like the whole pack has gone out in one go here, but I can just see in the middle, I can see Limelight Vinty and Emstemmer pushing their way to the front, along with Roasted Marsden and Nespresso and Speed Foot Flips. Zest 29 was also there for a moment, but seems to be going in the wrong direction. Alcanax is actually holding the front of the pack at the moment with 49 Toddy just behind them. Speedfoot Flitz is kind of just holding the front along with Lost One and Lance Stater.
Yeah, it's Jeff.
Ah, right. Lisa's bobbing along up at the top as well, and just slightly further back from the front is Reseller for Rescue. I can see the Crazy Life that is pushing through to the front. Can't actually see. This could be anybody's at the moment, but we still have a minute to go, so it could be completely all changed. Ready Steady Retro is trying to make a swim for it down at the bottom. I can't see any naked ducks in the front of the pack, which is unusual. Who else? I can't see hardly any of these names. I can see Sandra Parker now, and Tam's Selling Life. It's also made it to the front. I think that was Richard Payne just above. Alquinax is still holding their own, and Deborah Sardine is taking a little look, but no, I think she's going to be dropping off again. Lisa is still bobbing along quite quietly, minding her own business up at the top. Ready Steady Retro is still at the bottom of the screen. Just behind that is Lance Stater. Angel Delight is now trying to see if she can make an appearance at the front of the pack. Sarah, oh no, as soon as I say her name, they're off again. It's still Lisa, and it's still Ready Steady Retro at the moment. Oh, and now who's this? This is Retro Sheller. Retro Sheller. But no, everybody's going in the wrong direction. We've got 3 seconds to go, and I have no idea. It's going to be Woo! And Naked Duck out of nowhere.
Tam, you're the winner. Well done.
Tam.
Well done to Tam.
That was because Belle's Cozy Corson came in and did a duck joke. She gave him good luck. So, Tam, you have won. Is it that what's over there?
Yeah.
You've won a little plastic duck, a little duck in a car, some plop trumps. Your boys are going to love that.
And some sweeties.
Woohoo!
Well done, Tam. Tam, send me a message. You know where I am. Send me a message with your address again. I've probably got it, but just send it again for me, just to remind me. And I'll get those in the post for you on Wednesday. Okay? And that is pretty much it for tonight. Don't forget, podcast Wednesday, 1 p.m. with That's Flipping Retro. We're talking about when is it time to quit eBay, or is it time to quit eBay? Pretty much similar to what we talked about tonight.
First win on the actual show.
Well done, Tam.
Were you all excited, Tam, jumping up and down?
Willing it
on, come on!
Watching a horse race like the Grand National. Anyway, we're done for today. Thank you all so much for joining us and being so interactive in the chat. I really do appreciate it. And we're going to end the show with a little factoid about reselling.
I was going mental.
Right, we're ready for our factoid before we finish. Okay, here we go. So just remember, when we're all struggling on eBay and sales are not going great, or it's very quiet, it's like a roller coaster, right? But once somebody sold a grilled cheese sandwich with the face of the Virgin Mary on it for $28,000.
Well, you now know where we're going wrong, don't you? That is where we're going wrong. We need to be selling that sort of stuff.